This week, we sit down with new character art director Josh Herman to discuss his work on Star Citizen. The Austin Quality Assurance Team talks about the continuing development of Alpha 2.4. And we look at the upcoming quick animations for your spaceships in the ATV Fast Forward. All this and more on this week's Around the Verse.
Here we go. Okay, here's our 5v5 team battle. Skins versus suits. Suits are going to be attacking. Skins are going to be defending the Starfarer. Skins, go ahead and head to the cockpit. All right, suits, let's go ahead and go outside. Get some good clearance. Nice. Everybody still alive? All right, guys. Defending team, you are go. And attacking team, let's go ahead and go in. I think to avoid complications, let's just rush the bay. They're gonna be shooting from top. Go ahead, move it, move up.
Just run straight to the door.
Run straight to the door. Come on, I'll hold it open. We all make it? I think we all made it.
I'm still here.
All right. Good. Let's move the door on our left.
Guy to the right. Guy to the right. Two guys to the right.
You guys to the right? Shit. All right. Yep, I see him.
Together organizing these types of events.
Yeah, and it's cool to see like the FPS in action. You know, we went ahead with getting everything into the persistent universe all at once, and now you kind of see how it works. People are boarding ships and fighting and having battles. It's really neat.
It is. It's very cool. Welcome to this week's episode of Around the Verse, a weekly look at Star Citizen's development. I'm Sandy Gardner.
I'm Ben Lesnick, and we're all home finally.
We are. We're finally all home after a long couple of weeks.
Yes, it's not the same when we're not like working closely together. So it's.
I know, it feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, because I was out for a while, and you were in Europe working with the Squadron stuff, and. How did it go, by the way?
It went really well. It was nice to see all of the UK folks who are now split on 3 floors.
Oh, wow.
So that was good exercise for me. And it was cold anyway, so it was fun to run up and down the stairs.
It sounds like a great summer vacation.
I know, yeah. it was not summer in Manchester, put it that way.
Well, the big question on everyone's minds is, where is Alpha 2.4?
Where is Alpha 2.4? We are still having a few network issues, so Alpha 2.4 is not quite here yet, but we will be keeping you updated with every update that we get.
And it's still in active development on the PTU, so there should be plenty of information out there from backers already who have experienced the current version. But you probably heard that this is the big patch that introduces persistence to Star Citizen. It's going to be a major milestone once we get that up and running. It also adds in-game shopping using Alpha UEC that you earn instead of buy through the website. It adds the flyable Starfarer, the largest ship we've done yet. It's going to be a big deal. We just get it out as soon as we can.
Have you tried it yet?
I have. It's a lot of fun. When we're not having some network issues,
that is true. I actually had a pretty decent run at it. It took me a long time to find my clothes, for starters. Then I went running around and I went into the Casaba store, getting shirts and pants and shoes and stuff. All the same style shoe, but different colors. And then what did I do? I went into the weapons area. And like, all the guns, you can try all the different
Are you
guns.
saying you have a concern about Star Citizen shoe styles?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. But I'm still waiting for my female character devs out there who are watching this. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. So hopefully we will get it out there to you guys soon.
We need to send you to Austin to show them what they should be making for shoes.
Oh yeah, exactly. You hearing that, Tony? In other news, the Buccaneer is available now through Monday. You can pick yourself up a Buccaneer fighter, and there's also a little questionnaire.
Questionnaire!
Yay! There's
Questionnaire
also a
for the Buccaneer.
Exactly. Do you want to tell us about that, Ben?
So when we do a concept sale, the folks at Turbulent like to put together some sort of fun add-on. Sometimes it's a mini game or a clicker thing, or whatever they think will be interesting. This time around, we did a Drake customer information form, as though Drake Interplanetary is asking their customers about their lives. And we've been doing a question every 2 days. There'll be 5 total. Some of the answers tend towards, I'm a law-abiding person who works in groups for the betterment of mankind, and some of them tend towards, I'm a lone wolf, work outside the law type of person. And once every question has been asked and answered by the community, we will award a particular prize package depending on the overall response. So there's one type of Voyager Direct Gun package that is for Law and Order folks, and one for the Lone Wolf folks, and we will announce which one won and award it to everyone who has a Buccaneer at the end of the sale.
There you go. And we're going to ask Ben to say that one more time. No, but I also want to thank Jim Martin, just to talk about myself for a few moments, because he made me look really, really good in that art that he did. So thank you very much.
You don't need Jim Martin for that.
Very nice dress. Yeah.
Jim Martin is the designer of the Buccaneer. If you tuned into Around the Verse last week, you saw him sitting down with me to talk about the ship. And we're going to have another segment in the next couple episodes where we'll talk about his career and some of the other work he's done.
Next, our monthly report goes live this Friday with updates from all our development studios.
So if you want to know exactly what Turbulent was doing in May, or what the folks in Germany have been up to, you'll find out.
With that, let's check in with our studios from around the world and see what's happening in news from around the verse.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Los Angeles, California. I am Eric Kyron Davis, here with
Elwin Batchelor Jr.
And we have a bunch of great updates for you from the Los Angeles studio. I'm going to let Elwin kick it off with what his team's working on.
So we have been working really hard on finishing up the Caterpillar. Specifically, the team is putting the final touches on the cargo module, which is, as you guys probably already know, 50% of the length of that ship, so it's quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
And I'm starting off on the command module, which is also a very complicated part of the ship. In addition to us starting to move into other sections of the ship, some hallways and things like that. But it's looking pretty good.
It's cool. It's coming together really well. I think some of our internal folks, as we've seen more art on it, we're getting pretty excited to fly that thing around and fill it full of cargo.
And maybe other things.
And maybe other things, but mostly cargo.
Mostly cargo.
Yeah, mostly cargo. Awesome. Well, that's the ships. Obviously ships are a big part of the LA studio, so that's what Elwin's team's working on. We also, on the other side of the house, on the engineering side, have Item System 2.0. We've been talking about this a lot because it's a massive feature and it's a massive update to just how you interact with our game. So we're really, really excited about it. Paul Reindel's been kind of leading the charge, not only for 2.4. 2.4 has been a lot of work for us with persistence, so there's a lot of bugs we're kind of ironing out. But his whole team is working on different portions of the item system, the new item system with interactive system and all that fun stuff. It's going to be really cool when we get this into play. It'll be a big part of Squadron as well as just the overall game. I think it's going to be a cool feature. Outside of that, characters, we've got a pretty good sized character team ever since Josh Herman's joined us here, the character art director. So we're working on hair, we're working on a next round of shopping clothes, right?
That's
We
right.
have some more clothes we're working on, some stuff like that. And then on the other side too, Gage has also been still working on shopping and clothes, and that's been a big one for the LA studio. So those are some updates. Outside of that, we've got a bunch of other stuff we're working on, but those are the highlights for the week.
Yeah, some of the more obviously kind of exciting parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Anything else? Any other updates for you or for the ships or for LA before we sign off and say goodbye?
No. That's about it. Yeah.
We've said what? There's nothing more to be said.
No, there's quite a bit. I just don't know if we can say it. There's quite a bit we can't say.
And that's all we can say.
Yeah.
All that we can say has been said. All right. I think that's it. Thanks, guys, for stopping by LA. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Owen.
See you later.
Bye.
Hey guys, Jake Ross here, producer of the Austin Studio, and I'm here with you this week to talk a little bit about what's going on here in Austin and a little bit of what's going on elsewhere. So the first thing I'll talk about is performance and stability. So we have 240. It's been on PTU for a while, and we've gotten the features kind of where we want them, and we think we've got them to the point where you guys are liking them. Now it's just a matter of getting it stable enough to put it out there on live. So we've got Jason Ely and Tom Sawyer here working through the persistence crashes. It's a pretty hefty, monstrous thing, persistence. So it's got a lot of crashes. Even though those guys did a really good job, there's always things we don't foresee that goes wrong, and a lot of it's on the gameplay side too. So we've got Paul Reindell helping out in LA, helping knock out some of the persistence bugs on the gameplay side. So he and Jason Ely and Tom Sawyer are kind of tag teaming to knock those persistence bugs out. We've also got kind of network client performance issues, crashes that are being worked on throughout the company. So performance and stability is something that we're constantly monitoring. Ahmed and Jeffrey Peace here in Austin are monitoring that and providing as many updates as they can to help educate and where the biggest pitfalls are. So in the works, we're trying to get it as smooth and stable as possible so we can get out in your guys' hands. So speaking of earlier when I've talked about what was going on elsewhere, we got Jay Brushwood, our senior ship animator here in Austin, over in London. He was in London last week, participating in the mocap shoot they got going over there. We're capturing new ship enter and exit animations there on the mocap set. So he and Steve Bender are teaming up and capturing those animations so that we can kind of give you guys some specific options for getting in and out of the ships faster, which I know everybody's excited about. So that's in the works this week as well. We've also got a white box review of the Herald scheduled for this week. So we're at a point now where we can kind of say, okay, we've got the Herald where we want it in white box phase. Certain phases like art, I think, has moved into gray box a little bit, but we can now review as a whole, and design and animation and art and can all get together and kind of review the ship in its current state, so we can move that ship further along the pipeline. So that's where we're at with the Herald. And that's being, again, the art is being headed up here in Austin by Josh Coons. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah, that's all I got for you this week, guys. Thanks. See you around.
Hey everyone, Brian from Frankfurt. This week, team's busy. Not going to run down what everybody's doing. Hannes, you know him, our cinematics director. He just got back from the shoot. You were out there how long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? So I just got back from another PCAP shoot, so I thought I'd bring him in. He can kind of chat about what they've did and tell us as much as you can.
Which is not much. No, we basically, I think last year we shot, I would say, like 75% of all the story material, but there were 2 chapters that were kind of loose and not written yet fully, and so we kind of backed off and didn't shoot that back then. And we also developed more secondary material now for certain bits where we found could be like a little bit more explained or certain things. We have more introductory chapters now for basically newcomers, and we shot this kind of material this time, and it was 2 weeks. And it was pretty much well-oiled machine from day 2 on. Like day 1 was a bit clunky, so getting the team back in business basically. But then the second day we had live mocap working pretty well again in our levels.
That's cool.
We even had certain scenes where we now.
So that really quick. So the live mocap is kind of the live previs. So everybody's in the funky suits with the dots and around the cameras, but with the live mocap, then we actually have the environment that's in there or the ship or wherever it is. And it's mapped to the characters in real time, and we're seeing them actually interacting with the environment. And it gives you and Chris and others more of a true sense of how things are going to play out then, right?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect blueprint for animators, but also level design, that they see already how it is working and looking in the level at the right spot, and they don't need to have something in their mind, because we basically have the blueprint right there on set, and they just need to kind of polish what we had on set.
So that live previs can then will be recorded, saved out as videos. That's not the data that the animators or anybody's working with, but they can they'll use that as reference footage then.
There's no doubt anymore where each scene takes place,
Absolutely.
because we already had it right at the spot where it takes place. Cool. And this time we actually had some of our scanned heads already in, because last time we basically scanned the actors while we were shooting, so we basically just had clones.
Yeah.
But this time we actually had the actual heads on certain actors already in the scenes, and they were quite happy seeing themselves like, oh, there's my actual head. So that was pretty funny. And I think the best thing we did, we shot some things with, like, it's a Spectrum show. I don't want to reveal the actor yet, but it was a riot.
He just told me, actually, honestly, like 45 seconds ago, I didn't know until he just told me.
No, it's like I would say it's a conspiratorial Spectrum show about like a conspiracy nut, and, and the guy who's playing it, awesome, like just awesome.
That's cool.
And we will, I think we shot like 3 segments with him. This is basically content that the player will be able to see in the hub ship when he's like watching or switching TV channels. Stuff like
that's
It's
awesome.
basically secondary content.
That's cool.
It's basically.
Good. Any other? So when you guys went there, though, you know, obviously, all of it's planned out ahead of time, and it's a kind of a well-oiled machine. What actors are coming in at what times and so on. But you guys got through everything that you intended, you wanted to.
No, I think sometimes you need to go longer on certain days if you haven't planned it out right. But this time we actually, I think one time we did an hour longer than planned or something, but no, it was all fine.
And you have one more shoot then for Squadron 42?
There's one more shoot. I don't want to say which actor is, but we need to schedule some shoots around certain actors' beards and when they grow and when they can't grow and stuff like this. So we have one more coming up in July, which is again, I think 2 weeks, and that's it. Then we were basically 100% complete with the story content.
Cool. I need to shut up, otherwise everyone's going to make fun of me for going too long, but thanks for coming in, Hannes. I literally just grabbed him randomly. And thanks again, guys, for all the support. See you next week.
Thank you to all of our studios for the fantastic work you do. Thanks for getting in your monthly reports in time, too.
Now over to Jared, who sat down with our new character art director, Josh Herman.
Thanks, guys. On this week's ATV interview, we're sitting down with our brand new character art director, Mr. Josh Herman. Josh, how you doing, man?
Nice to meet you.
Good. So, character art director. You've just come on board. Why don't you give us a quick rundown? What does a character art director do?
Sure. So, basically, I'm overseeing the global teams, both the UK and the LA, where our character teams are based. And I'm going to be covering all the PU stuff, the Squadron 42 stuff, cinematics, and marketing. So, anything that's going to be character related, whether it's concept or character art, is kind of going through me.
Gotcha. Now this is a new position here at Gamplay Games. Previously, we've had art directors before, but characters kind of fell under the purview of other art directors.
Yeah, exactly.
So what makes now the time, and you might not be able to answer this, you're brand new, but what makes now the time to say we need a dedicated character art director?
I think when you have two games that are kind of running at the same speed, or you're trying to get them both out at the same time, they're both going to have their own priorities. And so if you have an art director on Squadron and you have an art director in the Persistent Universe, those things don't always align. And so it's easier to have one voice that's going to be able to control them both, rather than having two separate art directors that they need to communicate all the time. This one just kind of cuts it down, so it's just one. Just one voice makes it a little easier.
Gotcha. And so you've seen all the work. You did the mocap with Mark Hamill. And you're familiar with our cast and whatnot. What do you think of our cast for Squadron 42?
Oh, they're incredible. I mean, anytime you could say like Mark Hamill, Andy Serkis, Mark Strong, Gillian Anderson, plenty others that I can't even think of. Tons.
Well, we've added
Jack
some,
Houston and others.
We've added a couple people recently that we're not ready to talk about yet. But, so you've just joined the team. Where did you come from? Where'd you come to from us? Where'd you come from to us? Where'd you come from to us?
I came to you from.
Where'd you come to us from?
I came from Marvel Studios. So basically, some people get confused when I say Marvel Studios. They think that's sometimes the game division. Does that mean I worked on the Fox X-Men movies? No. Basically, what it means is I worked on all the Avengers movies. So anything that includes Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, any of those movies. And I worked in the visual development group. What that means is we're an art department that oversees all the movies. So Iron Man's costume has been designed by pretty much the same couple guys. Captain America's costume has been done by the same guys throughout all the movies that he's been in. And that keeps it so that as a universe, it's persistent, right? So that there's a good look. The guys who are designing, Guardians of the Galaxy are the same guys that are designing Avengers characters, so that when that eventual crossover happens, which you all know is planned to happen, it all fits.
Were you there when they pitched Iron Man 3 and they said there was going to be 30 Iron Man costumes?
Yes, actually. So that was part of why I used to, before I worked at Marvel, I actually worked at Naughty Dog. And my contract was ending, and so I was in discussions with Marvel. And they were saying, we want you to come on for Iron Man 3. This will be the first movie you'll do in-house. And I had done the Iron Man suit at the end of Avengers, the one that flies down when he jumps out of the building. I did that one. And they really liked working with me. And so they basically said, we want you to do the Mark 42, which is the gold suit. We want you to do the Iron Patriot suit. And then at the end of this movie, we have a scene where there's like 40 suits that come out, and we want you to do as many as you can. So during my 4.5 years there, I modeled about 13 different versions of Iron Man.
Gotcha. And which version was your favorite, and why was it Heartbreaker?
Ooh, I think my favorite version, I'm torn between the Mark 7, because that was the first one that I did, and it's still one of my favorites. And then I really actually like I think it's the 45, which is the one he wore in Ultron, Age of Ultron, the end of Age of Ultron. I like that, because it gets to like a sleeker kind of style. I like those too. And then, big fan of War Machine, so any of the War Machines I worked on were super cool too.
Yeah. None of that garbage triangle.
I didn't. No, I was the last. When I started on the 7, they went back to circle, so I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Not a fan of the triangle.
All right. So you mentioned you worked at Naughty Dog before that. Uncharted series.
Uncharted 3. Yeah.
Uncharted 3.
Yeah. So I worked on a lot of the multiplayer stuff. The background, kind of creating a custom character system there, so that if you created your custom hero, you could swap out pants and gloves and hats and do all that kind of stuff. And then I also did a few story characters. So the main one I did was Salim. So he's the Bedouin leader at the end of the game who kind of comes in and saves Drake and shows him the way.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry. Old game.
I've never played.
But spoiler alert. So he gets saved by a Bedouin leader. So, yeah.
Cool.
You're in the middle of it right now.
Sorry.
That's all right,
Now, why did you leave Marvel Studios to come here?
It's just kind of, I wanted a little bit of a change of pace, and I think once you model so many Iron Man suits and you've done kind of this, you kind of get into a routine. You're looking for something more exciting and something different and something that's a challenge. And so Star Citizen obviously is an incredibly ambitious game, and there's lots of different, and then add on to that Squadron 42, and all the stuff that we want to do and that we're doing, and we want to just, you can't really ask for a more of a challenge than that.
Yeah, ambitious is a good word.
Yeah, ambitious, right.
Yeah, it's we hear that word a lot in press, and it's like, yeah, we know how ambitious it is.
We understand.
There's a reason, it's we all came onto this because we wanted to work on the most ambitious thing in the world.
Yeah.
So some questions that I know the community are going to want me to ask.
Okay.
You're brand new.
Yeah.
Well, you've been here for what, 2-3 weeks now?
This is like day 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're brand new. So
yeah.
I can hit you with the hard ones.
That's good.
Where's my hair? When do our characters get hair?
We're working on it. I can tell you right now, we're working on it. We're working on some of the Squadron 42 hero characters' hair first, but we do have a pipeline that we've kind of just set in place for character hair and stuff for customization and stuff. So it's coming. It's on the way. Yeah.
Second hard question: female avatars.
Also in progress. We've put some revisions in it, and I don't really have a timeline, but I can tell you it's coming.
Yeah. Well, we just made some recent revisions. I saw them on Shotgun recently, so that's coming along pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
I know English too good, as evidenced by this interview already. Hair's in progress.
Yep.
Female avatars are in progress. With 2.4, we have the first rollout of shopping and being able to customize your clothes and stuff like that. And that is only the first.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
2.4 isn't the end of.
No, not even
people
close.
are going to be like, oh, there's 6 shirts and 4 pants, or I'm just pulling numbers out of my butt, guys.
Right.
However many shirts and however many pants are. But that's not it. That's not the end. This will be something we continuously.
Yeah, this is like, this is like the sampling. We want to make sure that some of the systems work, and
Exactly.
when you go to a parts system with characters where you have shirts and pants and everything kind of needs to work together. Every possible option needs to be able to work with every possible option.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of test run for that. And then for each release, we want to try to have a little bit more content, so that every time you get in there in a new release, you're gonna have a lot more stuff to play with.
Gotcha. This first rollout is more about the tech than it is about the new item port system and stuff like that than it is the content.
Exactly.
Once the tech and the systems are in place, then we can start exploiting. And we're hiring new artists. In every studio. We just hired a new technical artist here. I can't remember his name right now. They brought him by my desk yesterday and introduced me, and I'm like, I don't remember his name. Sorry, whoever you are. Eric Link. Eric Link, welcome to the team, man. See, I remember.
You got it.
I'm not good with names. So, were you a fan of the project before? When did you first find out about Star Citizen?
A couple years ago. I'm friends with Germach, the concept artist. So I'm friends with him, and so I'd known about it before, and then he started. We actually started teaching at the same place, and so that's kind of how we started talking about it. And I got more into it. Bought a starter pack. Kind of flew around and just kind of figuring out what the game was, and then just kind of got more interested in it as I kind of following it a little more, watching all the shows you guys do, which I'm now on, which is weird, but it's kind of slowly getting my interest peaked in and be like, because the thing that was really interesting to me was the Star Citizen, the big open thing, but then also understanding how much of a full game and the cast that 42 is too. So
this is definitely two AAA titles that we're doing at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's about all.
Okay.
We need just your first, get your feet wet and whatnot.
Cool.
I know you're heading off to the UK, in a couple weeks to help build out the processes there, and whatnot. So thanks for stopping by.
Of course.
That's Josh Herman, our new character art director for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. Back to you guys. Now tell me everything you know about Phase 4.
Hey everyone, welcome to the all-new Bugsmashers. I'm finally going solo. Got my own spin-off, like in tradition of, all those great spin-offs like Joey, Caprica, and Lone Gunman. This is gonna be good, and I'm ready to smash some bugs. Bugsmashers! Hey everyone, we have here a fun little multiplayer bug. So on my left, I have my dedicated server. On the right, I have 3 clients connected. And on the dedicated server, you can see the status of each of the players. And currently, they're all set to be in-game. This bug that I've gotten is if one of the players decides to eject and disconnect right away, the other 2 clients will be unable to respawn. So let's see what happens.
Hi, I'm Justin Binford. I'm the QA director. I manage the QA department in our 4 main studios around the world. So in QA, we have teams at each studio, and we do a sort of the follow the sun development approach, and it kind of facilitates a more seamless approach to QA development coverage and almost have a 24-hour coverage, which is super helpful for development. 2.4 is definitely exciting for the new mechanic persistence. Everybody's looking forward to how persistence will change the game, so what you do in the world will basically be saved. Persistence has so many moving parts, so it's definitely been the most challenging aspect of testing this new build. Because persistence will touch basically every other feature.
We couldn't just respawn and have everything reset now. Our damage states and the ship states and everything were staying the same, so we kind of had to work around that quite a bit.
We've also been dealing with learning the new control schemes that are currently being implemented.
It's a large amount of content. We have shopping, we have new port modification for the hangars and the ships. So it's just a lot of content to test and get ready.
So the other features we have are the shopping, the port modification, and the ship repair and refuel, which all ties into persistence. And so that can complicate testing where we would have like multiple items disappearing, and then it also introduced some stability issues where players would get basically kicked out of the game. And so there's a lot of issues related to persistence that we had to fix before we opened up 2.4 to a wider audience and eventually to the live environment.
PTU testers are essential to going from PTU to live. The QA people, we can only find so much. There's only so much that we can do.
Well, I think the benefit of PTU in general, like especially the big PTU with everybody in there, is that we need people to just stress test everything and like give Ahmed a chance to get the servers running in shape. And so we need lots of people in there just like doing everything at once, just like, just maxing out the servers. Like we have all the bugs that QA didn't have time to write up or catch or get to that area. And when we send that to the huge group of people, then like we have all these people reporting the same stuff, and most of them are upset by it and don't want to keep playing because of these bugs keep getting in their way. And so I think it's really beneficial to have like a middle ground where we have like, here are people specifically looking for like specific bugs and getting them in like a very like orderly way. And then after that, we can open the floodgates to everybody else, and they can have more fun writing less bugs and also just like giving us the server stress that we need.
I have so many things to thank the PTU testers for. They've been so great. They all collaborate together in Discord. They've been getting in groups and testing everything out. They've been helping us by making sure that there's not duplicate issue councils. They've been going and verifying each other's issue councils and actually searching to make sure they're there. And they've just been so great in Discord when we ask them to do anything and they stop everything they're doing and they just go.
All the PTU guys are rock stars, man. Keep it up. You're doing great.
The biggest thing that excites me about 2.4 is the addition of the money system now and buying things. It's obviously in a very early state, but that's obviously a huge leap, and a huge next step for the game.
I think the most exciting part is about earning the money, having your hostility system. It's actually starting to really feel like the game we've all been waiting for.
Thank you so much with all the testing that you've been helping us with. As you know, our QA department is relatively small, so we definitely leverage as much as we can the community when it comes to testing. And the Avocado group has been incredibly valuable in testing 2.4 and the new features going in.
Hey there, Tyler Witkin, Community Manager in the Austin, Texas studio, here to bring you this week's MVP. A huge congratulations to Bad News Baron for organizing an epic 5v5 FPS battle on board a Starfarer, which you saw a sample of at the beginning of this episode. We love seeing this level of emergent gameplay rise during Star Citizen's development, and one of the reasons that this video is so exciting to watch is because it gives you a glimpse into the intense gameplay and exciting boarding action that Star Citizen will have in the future. So, congrats again to you, sir. You're this week's MVP. Back to you guys.
Bad News Baron, yay, he's one of our favorites.
Yes, I see him streaming all the time. One of our early backers, and lots of fantastic streamers, but he's certainly up there.
I love it. B&B. Talk about B&B being a cool dude.
I wrote that. I think he's a cool dude. And he organized that video, which is
even cooler.
Even cooler.
Now let's take a look into our future with ATV's Fast Forward.
Be sure to tune into Reverse the Verse tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific on Twitch. We'll be talking about that fast forward, the status of 2.4, and everything else good.
With that, a thank you as always to all of our subscribers for making this show possible. We will see you next week on Around the Verse.
Around the Verse. And we have some sad news also we'd like to talk about. Just before we started to shoot this morning, we got word that one of our backers, Mr. Eric Oberg, very sadly passed away. He was just a really good guy. I interacted with him on Twitter a bunch. He was out there with the community. We wanted to, dedicate this episode to him at least. We've passed his name and some information about ships he loved to the writers, Dave Haddock and everybody. They're going to incorporate him in the lore. It's always really hard to get news like this. Our backers are here living this dream with us. They all are going the same place we are, and it's really sad to lose one along the way. But we're going to do the best job we can to make the game you were waiting for, sir. And if we get more information about how you can leave condolences and so on, we'll share it on our TV on Friday. But sorry to be the bearer of bad news.